Good morning, YouTube. It's the half man, half amazing Black Clark Kent coming at you early this morning. Just want to have a conversation this morning. I know it's kind of early. I know many of y'all might not be up on here right now, but something to think about later on. Just want to have a just general conversation. I've noticed that, we are now in 2019, and I understand things are different compared to what it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and everything. But the one thing I've noticed is that not all, some people have gotten sensitive when it comes to things. I understand that, you may have a topic that might be near and dear to your heart or something like that, and it might bring back memories, whatever. But I think we live in a society now where it's people are easily offended, and it's not necessarily something that needs to be that way. I'll give you an example. I can have a conversation with somebody about anything. I'm not talking about politics, religion. We could be talking about sports or anything, right? And I feel like when we have a conversation, not all parties are going to agree. That's just the way it is. We don't always agree on everything that we talk about. But the problem I have, and I've talked to several people about this, is instead of us agreeing to disagree, you feel like you're being offended. And I'm like, but we're not saying anything offensive. We're just having a general discussion. And just because I don't agree with your view of your view of the discussion, you feel offended by it. And I'm like, are we gone to the point now where we're that sensitive that we can have a discussion where there's nothing negative being said? It's just we're having a disagreement about who the best player in the NBA is, or we're having a conversation about who the best team in the NFL, and it's gotten to the point where you feel like that you're being offended by me not agreeing with your point. And I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Or we've gotten to the point where I was raised by my grandparents. I was always raised to hold a door, for a lady, even hold a door for a dude. I don't care, you know what I'm saying? And I had one situation happen where I was holding the door for this one lady coming through the door. You think I can't hold my own? You think I can't open my own door? I'm an independent woman. I don't need no man holding the door. I'm like, lady, I'm just trying to be nice. I have no qualms about you being independent and doing your own thing, but I'm just trying to be nice. I'd hold the door for a guy. It's we've gotten to that mindset now where it's we do something nice and someone gets offended by it. I'm like, really, people? Really? We've gotten to that point? And it's just frustrating because it's I understand it's 2019, but that doesn't mean you have to be an asshole about it. You know what I'm saying? Courtesy and respect is still something that goes a long way in my book. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But even on the news this morning about the whole Kevin Hart thing, I guess he said something a while back that offended a group of people. I think he's done over 40,000 tweets, and people zeroed in on 2 of the 40,000 tweets. And he apologized. He went on the Ellen show. I think will be aired today. He'll talk about it, but people look for that stuff, and I'm like, you got nothing better to do with your time? And even I'll give you another example. There was I think this kid on Twitter. His name is Brother Nature. He's this dude that he has this connection with wild animals, any type of animal, deers, you name it. He has a connection with them. And I guess he said something racially offensive when he was 12 years old, and people found that tweet from 7 years ago. I think he's 20 or 19, 20 years old. They went back 7 years to dig up dirt on this man. And I'm like, yeah, he was 12 years old. He probably shouldn't have said that stuff, but he was 12 years old. But yet you're gonna attack him for the stuff that happened 7 years ago, but not worry about the good he's doing with these animals, though. We got to the point now is you got to be careful what you say on your social media, because it's you can't have an opinion anymore. I'm not saying your opinion is derogatory or disgusting or negative, but you can't have opinion about anything. Anything that you say can be scrutinized. Anything you say, you can say one thing and it can be flipped to something totally different than what you actually meant by what you said. That's a shame. And I'm not saying you should go around here, demeaning different types of groups, different types of genders, sexual orientations, none of that. I'm not with any of that. Excuse me. But it felt like you can't have an opinion or anything anymore, because this moment you have an opinion that doesn't agree with what the norm is supposedly about, then you're being attacked. And don't be famous and have an opinion on something. Oh my God, watch out. And like I said, Kevin Hart didn't really, he apologized for what he said. I don't know exactly what he said, but I mean, he went on Ellen invited him on the show to talk about it. And I guess the Oscars want him back. I think everyone wants him back to host the show. And we'll see what happens. It's just frustrating that, that that you can't say anything without being scrutinized. It's a shame, It's a shame. And, like I said, people are supposed to have opinions, discussions about things, and like if it doesn't fit the person's expectations of a discussion, you're being offensive, and like that's ridiculous. I mean, nothing derogatory was said or anything like that at all. Oh yeah, I'm offended by that. Well, tough luck, man. I ain't here to please everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to agree with everything we say. And we can have a thing what's called agree to disagree. It's just, that's how it is sometimes, And it's just tough. Like, I've been talking to a couple other people, like, people that have families, and they want to try to get their kids away from electronics and go outside and do things. So I think it's great. I mean, when I was a kid, I had my Nintendo, I had my Sega Genesis, I got all the systems. I still have all the systems, but I made time to go out and do other things because video games isn't the only thing that's, on my mind. It's a fun way to escape reality a little bit and just have fun. But at the same time, that's not what it's all about. And, another thing, like I said, we're living in a different era now where kids are being raised differently too. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell people how to raise their kids, never that. But you can definitely see there's a difference in terms of how kids were raised 10 years ago than they are now. I mean, talking to some people last night, it was saying that this one guy, his brother's a high school teacher, and one of his students was vaping in class. I'm like, yo, like, who does that? I mean, it's gotten to that, we're at that point now where kids are vaping in class. And he was like, oh, I was just breathing really hard. Yeah, okay, I was born yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, we're getting to that point now where it's just like, everything is totally different now. And I'm like, you know what? You got to evolve with the times and everything. I get that. You have to evolve. Because it ain't 1999 anymore. 2019. And, that's the way things are. But I wish some people, not even some, a select, not even select, how do I say this? I wish a select few people would not be so easily offended by simple stuff, We can have a conversation. We can agree to disagree. And not feel offended by it. Because, like I said, not everyone's opinion is the same, It's just, it's just tough that, you feel like you can't have a conversation with somebody without being on eggshells. Am I offending this person? Or you have to alter the way you think or alter the way you feel about something because another person might be offended by it, even though you had no intention of offending that person, or your words is nothing offensive whatsoever. It's frustrating, But, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like social media is like it's taking over the world. I know we live in a technology era now, social media era, and I get it. I totally get it. But I would like to see, people come together and just have a conversation. And it doesn't happen all the time, but have a conversation without feeling like you're being offended, because I don't offend anybody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have a feeling, like, for example, I feel like Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all times. Some people might say LeBron James is the greatest basketball of all time. I don't necessarily agree with that. And the reason why I don't agree with that is because at the end of the day, championships matter, but how you get there matters as well. For example, Michael Jordan is 6-0 in the playoffs, in the finals. He's 6 for 6. No, actually, I take that back. Well, yeah, he's 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals. I don't know what his record is in the playoffs, but every time he got to the finals, he won. LeBron James, he's a great player. I'm not taking nothing away from him. But when it comes down to clutch moments, I'll take MJ any day of the week. You know? Um, and that's just my opinion. I'm not being biased. I think Steph Curry's a great. I think we got some great players in the league. James Harden just is out of his mind. Steph Curry, Durant, you know, Paul George, Westbrook, Kyrie, Anthony Davis is another one. I hope we get him. You know, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I hope we get Anthony Davis. You know, so yeah, I mean, we got some great players in the league today. You know, and we got great players in the league 30 years ago. You know, I mean, like I said, I mean, I have a conversation like people are like, oh, who's the greatest quarterback of all time? Obviously, it's Tom Brady. People might say Peyton Manning. No. Joe Montana. I can see a case for Joe Montana. You know? Ironically, my favorite quarterback growing up was Dan Marino. I like Dan Marino and Joe Montana. Actually, I got something signed from Joe Montana one time. I wrote a letter when I was a kid to the San Francisco 49ers, and I sent the card to them, and Joe Montana signed it and sent it back to me. But that was pretty cool. That's when he played for the 49ers. So, you know, just simple stuff. Having a conversation about simple things, and you know, people feel like they're being offended by it. It ain't that serious, you know. A little bit of update. It's Friday, January 4th. The clock's ticking. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Heading out on Tuesday and go from there. I'll do a couple of videos from when I'm out there. It's gonna be a busy week, very busy week. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said before, once I get myself situated, I'm gonna do a little bit of this type of topic stuff, do some gaming stuff, get myself situated. But I'm looking forward to the process, looking forward to the move, and getting the ball rolling. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll keep you guys posted. My Twitter is on here. My Instagram is on here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. You know, like I said, this is our channel, not just my channel. We work together. You know, all opinions are welcome. All types of discussions are welcome. Only thing I say is, like, you know, nothing negative, nothing derogatory. You know, we're all human beings. We all have a right to speak our mind, as long as we're doing it in a peaceful manner. So I look at it like that. And getting back to this whole discussion thing for a second, like I always tell people all the time, people that know me, I always look at people and I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I always give people a chance. I'm an optimistic person. Like I always look at the glass being half full. That's just my mindset. That's just the way I think. And I've always thought that way. You have to give me a reason not to like you. You know, I don't go into any situation not liking anybody. I go in a situation with the mindset that this person could potentially be a good person. Let me see what this person's all about. So that's the mindset that I go into it with. And yeah, that's just how I am. I'm not easily offended by nothing. I don't get offended by a lot of things at all, actually. I'm one of the least offended people that you'll ever meet, you know. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this channel is still in its infancy. I do things here and there. I figured I'd do another video since I'm to work to do some stuff today, and I'm just out here getting stuff done, you know, getting ready for Tuesday. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate all my subscribers. I'm gonna tweet out this my page, this video. I appreciate y'all again. Like I said, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm going to go put in a 7.5 hour day. And then after that, go do some overtime. Because at the end of the day, if you ain't out here working for it, You ain't earning anything, and you ain't getting nothing. Nothing's given to you for free, unless you're lucky enough to hit the lottery, which I haven't done that yet. So, with that being said, YouTube, I'm out of here. The Half Man, Half Amazin's out. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.